is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Monday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey. Here's what's making headlines on this July 27th. As the numbers of COVID-19 cases in Indiana continue to grow, the state is requiring all Hoosiers to wear masks. Working for you, what you need to know about the latest mandate going into effect today. The pandemic is causing many parents to consider homeschooling their kids this year. This morning, we're looking at some free resources the Indianapolis Library is offering to help you do just that. And a local foundation is working hard to help families dealing with other serious illnesses like cancer. How Fairhaven is giving them a place of refuge and their plans to help more people in need. But first, we need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast. Todd Clausen is standing by from the studio today. And Todd, before we get to any storms today, you're going to notice the humidity out there.
It's the first thing you'll notice when you walk out the door, Lauren. Yesterday, obviously, it came up and it was a more humid day for us on Sunday, at least compared to Saturday. Well, the humidity kept climbing overnight, and it's extremely muggy. And look at these temperatures this morning. Still 78 in Muncie, 76 at the 5 o'clock hour in Bloomington, 75 in Indy. We'll go into some of your hometowns and northern locations, 76 in Frankfort as well as Kokomo. Marion at 74 degrees. So temperatures already very warm. They are going to warm quickly throughout the course of the morning hours, and we should easily be into the mid 80s already by the noon hour. Right now we have a lot of clear skies all across the area and a lot of sunshine once the sun comes up, but all these showers and storms off to the west, they will head in our direction as we get into the afternoon hours. So it does become pretty stormy here later on this afternoon. Our temperatures peak here probably at the 1 o'clock hour in the upper 80s. And then as these storms move in, the temperatures will start to fall off a little bit. A couple of those storms could be strong to severe. We'll talk more about that for you coming up in just a few minutes, Lauren.
Todd, thank you. Let's take a look to our northwest. This is I-65 near State Road 32, where you can see traffic is moving along smoothly there down on the interstate, both northbound and southbound. Right now, I'm not monitoring any major issues here around central Indiana in the metro area. Of course, we'll continue to monitor things and keep you updated if there are any major crashes or delays to change up your commute. At 5:02, Indiana is now one of more than 30 states across the country requiring masks statewide. Today, a statewide mask mandate begins, and that means we're wearing a mask is no longer a suggestion. Instead, it's mandatory. Our Alyssa Donovan explains what you need to know. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. And that mask up mandate means anyone over the age of 8 years old must be wearing a mask in public spaces, indoor spaces, including stores and restaurants, as well as if you're on public transit or anytime you're outside in a setting where you can't safely social distance. You also must be wearing a face covering at those times. Holcomb says masking up is a step Hoosiers must take after seeing a change in the data, a rise in COVID-19 cases across the state. Masks will also be required in schools for grades 3 and up for all teachers, staff, and students. They'll also be required during extracurriculars, including sports, except during any strenuous activity. Dr. Jennifer Stollivan addressed concerns from people about face masks interfering with breathing at a press conference last week.
I would ask your typical person, even if they don't necessarily like wearing a mask or want to or believe it's their freedom to not wear a mask, to just think about the people that are around them who do have compromised immune systems, who have just as much right to go out and purchase their groceries or pick up the thing at the store that they really want or need. And we're keeping them from being able to do those things safely because we say it's my right to not wear a mask.
The governor first announced that those who did not comply with the mask order would be facing a Class B misdemeanor. That part of the order has changed, and instead, state and local health departments will be responsible for enforcing and educating Hoosiers on wearing a mask. And as of now, that mask order is in effect for 30 days. And of course, we will let you know if that changes, if it's extended or shortened at any time. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. It is 5:04. Hundreds more cases of COVID-19 continue to be reported daily here. Here's a look at those latest numbers. The Indiana State Department of Health confirming 860 new cases, bringing the state's total to more than 620,000 since the pandemic began. 8 new deaths were also confirmed here. 2,706 total deaths have been reported. More than 700,000 Hoosiers have been tested for the virus so far. Nearly 9% of those people have tested positive. This week, the Marion County Public Health Department is expected to release more guidance on back-to-school plans for our local schools. Dr. Jeff Butts, the superintendent for Wayne Township Schools, says that the district has been asked to submit a plan outlining how they can reduce capacity in school buildings. The district's back-to-school task force worked over the weekend on plans to propose a hybrid schedule for students grades 7 through 12. That means 2 days of in-person instruction and 3 days of e-learning. Students will be divided by alphabet, with about half attending in-person Monday and Tuesday, the other half attending Wednesday and Thursday. All 7th through 12th grade students will do e-learning on Fridays. K through 6 students will attend 5 days a week due to parents choosing at Wayne at home learning option.
Well, that will be a great help for us in reducing children in the classroom. We've removed additional furniture that was in our classrooms that students used to have for small group instruction. And we'll be working very intentionally when we do have smaller groups that we're working to keep our students socially distanced.
Dr. Butts says that these plans are developing and changing daily as new guidance comes down. They expect to release more back-to-school plans with parents and students this week. Wayne Township is expected to start school on August 12th. School is in session, soon to be back in session, and for some Hoosier kids, they're going to be going to classes online. This morning, our Kelsey Anderson joins us with the details on resources that can help you and your family navigate a virtual classroom.
The Indianapolis Public Library has tons of resources for students, parents, and teachers to utilize during virtual learning. They have free books and tons of online materials that can help keep everyone engaged in learning. All of the Indianapolis public libraries are open right now, of course, with safety precautions in place to keep everyone safe and healthy. For families that don't have internet access, you can use theirs free of charge. But if you aren't ready to venture out into public, the library has hundreds of resources like ebooks, audiobooks, and even videos that you can stream or download. The good news is most kids who go to school in Marion County already have library cards to the Indianapolis Public Library.
We've been working really hard to make sure that school children have library cards. We've been going school district by school district and have issued thousands of library cards.
The library does also have a blog where you can get ideas on books, experiments, games, and links to help kids with their homework. I've linked a ton of the resources available to you over on the RTV6 News app, but some of those resources do require a library card. You can easily get that at indypl.org. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. The time right now is 5:08. Through our struggles with COVID-19, we sometimes forget that there are people going through the toughest health fights of their lives, unrelated to the virus. And now there's an organization that's working even harder to meet the needs of our most critical patients right here in Indianapolis. But the organization, Fairhaven, also had to postpone their biggest fundraiser of the year due to the pandemic.
It's been difficult, like you said, on everybody, but if you're in the middle of a health crisis like they are, it's been even tougher.
Amanda Milner founded Fairhaven Foundation, a refuge in the storm, a temporary home for our most sick patients and their families near their doctors, free of charge. Amanda started the organization after seeing a need while working with a cancer agency and then being diagnosed herself. At 30 years old and a single mom to 2 kids, Amanda couldn't work. She lost her home, but not her faith.
But through it, I had so much to be grateful for, and so started Fairhaven as a way to share the love from like my family and friends and my Heavenly Father, and give that to people who are in the same battle.
Like Derek Brown, a Gary native and Purdue grad. He's lived and worked all over the country, but his roots brought him back to the Hoosier state. He was ready to start a new career when the unthinkable happened.
Something isn't right. Head was still hurting a lot. The mouth sores were still there. So we go to the emergency room, keep me overnight, and then I wake up the next morning and they tell me, oh yeah, you have leukemia.
a blood cancer with a rare mutation. And with that, Derek was on his way to IU Health in Indianapolis for the fight of his life.
So they put me in the back of an ambulance and 2 hours and 50-minute drive down here, and got here February 20th and met with a team of doctors and put everything in the hands of the Lord and got started. So it was aggressive that first week.
That was February. Then COVID-19 hit the Hoosier state, and things that lifted his spirits, like visits from his family, came to an end.
That was big. That was huge. It was good for my psyche and just my overall, just seeing people, seeing friendly faces. It was just good. But then all of a sudden they were like, sorry, we're going to have to cut that out.
But he says he is blessed. Derek needed a stem cell transplant, and his big brother was a perfect match. During that time, he needed to stay here in Indianapolis in an apartment with Fairhaven, which always has a waiting list, suddenly opened up.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. Fairhaven has been great. Words can't even put into play how much they've been there, from day one, helping me out.
The 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom unit includes a full kitchen where he can cook healthy food to fuel his body and a living room to rest it.
And then just for my parents as well, too. Like I said, having a place for them to be comfortable, being able for them to have, a place to rest and to be at ease.
And while he's hoping to be home soon, Fairhaven provided the next closest thing so he can focus on his fight.
Kind of like being home away from home.
So Fairhaven is able to serve nearly 100 families a year who stay on average for 4 weeks. They currently own a new building debt-free, and that would allow them to serve nearly 600 families each year once the renovations are complete. I want to show you some of the drawings of their new facility. And as we mentioned, Fairhaven had to postpone their April fundraiser due to the pandemic. So right now we're helping to kick off their virtual fundraiser. Each day this week, they're sharing stories of hope on their Facebook page. For more information, we put a link in this story. It'll be at our website. You'll just go to theindychannel.com. The time right now is 5:11. It is Monday morning, and it is sticky out there, Todd. My goodness.
That's the first thing you'll notice if you walk out the door this morning is the humidity. It's almost as you walk out to a wall of humidity and you run right into it. And it's going to be around for most of the day, so it's something we're going to have to kind of put up with here throughout the day. Temperatures this morning are running really warm as well, but it's going to start off with lots of sunshine here across the area. As you see, the satellite radar picture is nice and quiet, but there is a cold front off to our west with a line of showers and storms. It's that cold front that brings us some relief eventually as these showers and storms go through. But as these storms make their way into our area, some of them could be strong to severe. These high temperatures, which range from about 85 to 90 degrees today, are going to occur probably around the noon, 1 o'clock hour. And then once the storms start to arrive, we will start to see those temperatures drop off. A couple of these storms could be strong to severe, so the Storm Shield, a great app to have on your phone. It's completely free. You can download it from the App Store. It'll alert you to any warnings that could potentially get issued. Today, I think the best opportunity for any warnings would be thunderstorm warnings. We'll talk more about that severe threat for you coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you. We are following a developing story of one person being killed, another hurt in a shooting on the west side overnight. What police are telling us about the fight that led to the gunfire. And as COVID-19 numbers continue to surge in the U.S., leaders are looking to help Americans again financially. Still ahead, the latest plans the GOP is unveiling that could give you another stimulus check. It's 5:13. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It is 5:16 and new from overnight. One man is dead, another in critical condition after a shooting on Indy's west side. This happened around 12:30 on West Morris Street near the I-70 Holt Road interchange. Police at the scene tell RTV6 that an ex-boyfriend was fighting with a woman's new boyfriend when shots were fired. The ex-boyfriend was able to go to a nearby Speedway gas station to call 911. He was then taken to the hospital in critical condition. The new boyfriend died at the hospital, and police are still working to learn more details. One person has been arrested in connection with the shooting downtown in Indianapolis last week. It happened Thursday night in front of a liquor store on North Pennsylvania Street. IMPD says that an argument broke out and shots were fired. One man was in critical condition. The other suffered some serious injuries. IMPD says the person in custody was preliminarily charged with possession of a firearm. DNR officials say a 3-year-old boy has died after going missing in Raccoon Lake. He went missing near the beach yesterday afternoon after he wandered away from his family. The boy was found in the water by a visitor and later died at the hospital. An investigation is still underway this morning. The number of known coronavirus cases in the U.S. doubles about every month. That's according to Johns Hopkins University. While some leaders say another round of stay-at-home orders might be necessary, Senate Republicans are ready to unveil a plan to help the struggling U.S. economy. John Lawrence has the latest.
It's the start of a new week with an ongoing concern, the COVID-19 pandemic.
We're on the very steep end of an exponential curve where rates of transmission, rates of new cases, of hospitalizations and deaths are shooting up in many parts of the country.
More than 4.2 million Americans have been infected with the virus, according to Johns Hopkins University. And the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention published a forecast that predicts up to 160,000 U.S. deaths by mid-August.
You're going to keep seeing this resurge one place after another if we don't have a concerted national approach to this.
As work on a vaccine continues, Republicans in the Senate are working with the White House on a new economic stimulus proposal.
We're talking about employment benefits and so forth. Don't forget, there's a $1,200 check coming. That is going to be part of the new package.
White House officials say the $1 trillion recommendation includes $1,200 checks for many Americans.
And we want to make sure something gets passed quickly so that we deal with the unemployment and all the other issues, paycheck protection plan, tax credits to rehire people, and money for schools.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Cleanup is underway across South Texas after what was once Hurricane Hannah caused flooding and major damage over the weekend. Hannah came on shore in Texas as a hurricane, and then it was downgraded to a tropical depression as it moved across the state. It dropped more than a foot of rain on parts of southern Texas as it moved into Mexico. Back here at home, it is hot and sticky. There feels like there's a lot of moisture in the air this morning, Todd.
Well, there is a lot of moisture, and that's the humidity. You know, you think of moisture as just rain, but the humidity is the moisture as well. This afternoon, we're going to get into the rain, but it's extremely muggy this morning. If you haven't walked outside yet this morning, just wait for it. You may just want to stay inside in the air condition. But the storms will move in later on this afternoon. They'll develop, they'll move through, and some of them, as they do come through, could be borderline strong to severe. No visibility issues here this morning. The temperature sits at 75 degrees. The dew point is at 73 degrees. So whenever the actual temperature and the dew point temperature are close together, that means it's extremely humid and the air is almost completely saturated. It would be saturated if the dew point and the actual temperature were exactly the same. What does that all mean for you? Well, it means it's extremely humid out there and the humidity is at 94%. Temperatures warm as well this morning. 77 currently in Lafayette, 78 is the current temperature in Muncie. Bloomington is at 76 degrees throughout the course of the day today. Our temperatures are going to peak a little bit earlier than they normally do if we had a very typical summer-like day across the area. Normally our highs would be probably in about the 3 or 4 o'clock hour. Today we're going to get there a little bit earlier, and then the temperatures will level off or actually fall later on this afternoon and this evening as those storms start to move in. But they will warm very, very quickly this morning. Highs today in the upper 80s across most of the area. Skies are clear right now, but here are the storms back off to our west. It's a cold front, and these are the storms that are going to be heading in our direction. Let me time it out for you using TrueCast. I think anytime before the noon hour, you should be just fine. Once we get into the afternoon hours, we'll look for these scattered showers and storms to make their way through the area. And once we get closer to sunset, I do think there'll still be some showers and storms around, but the severe threat should come to an end around sunset. So the best chance of an isolated severe thunderstorm warning or two, probably between about 2 o'clock and also 9 o'clock this evening. Some showers and maybe an isolated storm linger into the overnight hours, and then they move out, and that's going to set us up for a pretty nice stretch of weather for the middle of the week. Marginal risk for severe weather, that's on the lower threat level spectrum from the Storm Prediction Center. So again, it's just an isolated storm chance, but you'll be dodging them this evening if you are going to be out and about. Keep that in mind. Tomorrow, a nice day. The humidity comes way down, 84 degrees, 85 on Wednesday with mostly sunny skies. Should be a really nice day on Wednesday before we get back into the daily storm chances for the end of the week and into the weekend. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out there on the roads this morning. This is I-70 a little west of Lyndhurst Drive. We do have an update for you as you're waking up this morning. On this Monday, we do have I-70 westbound reopened after that a month-long long closure. It actually opened about a day early, so that is great news for your commute. The only thing you'll need to keep in mind as you travel through that area starting at the South Split is the exit to Meridian Street. That is still closed. However, this morning you can take West Street to get into downtown for local traffic, and then you can also travel between the South Split and over on the west side. So that's a big change for you this morning. Hopefully that'll help out your morning drive. In basketball news, the Pacers are having some early success down in Orlando. They are undefeated in scrimmage games after beating the Mavericks Sunday. They came back after being down 13 points in the first half and won 118-111. Victor Oladipo did get some playing time and scored 16 points. They have one more game in the exhibition before their first regular season matchup set for Saturday. 2 college students have reached their destination after traveling hundreds of miles on their rollerblades. Just after the break, we'll take a look at their journey across the country for cancer research. It's 5:22. We'll be right back. It is 5:26. Welcome back. 2 college hockey players traded in their ice skates for rollerblades as they challenged themselves to a cross-country adventure. Andy Walker and Joe Adkins are roommates at the University of Massachusetts. Their goal was to skate from Boston to Walker's home, the state of Michigan, for charity. That's about 900 miles, and after 10 days, they reached their destination and raised nearly $25,000 for the American Cancer Society. The pair has also given themselves the new nickname, the Men in Blades. That is pretty cool, Todd. Wow, what a journey.
Right? That is, yeah. I didn't see the video. Is it traditional roller skates or were it rollerblades?
I believe that they were blades.
Blades, all right.
See right there, yeah.
I'm not good on either one of them. So
no, me neither.
I was just asking. I was the kind of guy at the skating parties in middle school. I'd have to run into the wall in order to stop. So. All right, outside right now we are dealing with very, very muggy conditions, and temperatures are in the mid-70s. We'll be near 80 degrees by 9 a.m. So we warm really, really quickly throughout the day today with lots of sunshine to start. But we do run into storms this afternoon. Some of those storms could be strong to severe. You definitely need to have the umbrella handy if you're going to be running errands later on today. High temperatures before the rain arrives, 85 to 90 degrees. We'll talk more about the timeline for those storms here across central Indiana coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on RTV6.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Starting today, Hoosiers across the state will be required to mask up. Now at 5:30, details on Governor Holcomb's latest executive order meant to help slow the spread of the coronavirus.
And Lauren, parents are facing some tough decisions when it comes to education this fall. This morning, we're taking a look at some free resources being offered for those who choose the homeschool route in this new school year.
It is 5:30 though. We want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana to kick off your work week. Thanks for waking up early with us. I'm Lauren Casey. Rafael Sanchez joining us this morning down from Johnson County. Hey, Rafael.
Lauren, good morning. What a great weekend. The weather was really summer perfect. Of course, this morning I'm jealous that Todd Clausen is in Studio A. I'm still stuck here in my living room as we continue to socially distance, but I'll get over it on this muggy Monday, Todd.
You know, like Rafael, I was sitting in front of the mirror this morning getting ready, and I had to remember how to tie this tie. I haven't been wearing one when I've been in my basement.
Not jealous.
Took me a couple tries to get the length right here on this Monday, but you're right, Rafael. It was a beautiful weekend, very summer-like. Saturday, we had the sunshine. Yesterday, sunshine, but it was a little more humid, a little bit warmer. What do you need to grab before you go here today? Well, I had to highlight everything. You'll need the sunglasses to start. The umbrella is really this afternoon and this evening, but before those storms arrive, plenty of water needed once again, and the sunscreen if you're going to be out and about. It's extremely muggy this morning. In fact, the humidity doesn't really get much higher. The dew points get much higher than where they are right now in central Indiana this morning. 75 is the current temperature in Indy, 76 in Bloomington, Muncie at 78. The skies are clear right now, but here are the storms off to our west. They come through later on this afternoon and into the evening hours. Anytime, I would say after the noon hour, there will be the threat of some storms. A couple of them could be borderline borderline, strong to severe. We'll talk more about that threat for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads, I-65 near Keystone Avenue. This is south of the downtown area. Crews are out there working this morning. As you can see, they're working on the bridge on that right side of your screen, but then the traffic is shifted over to the southbound side. That continues this week, so just use caution. Watch for that lane shift in that area. New from overnight, a man is dead, another critically injured after a shooting on the city's west side. This happened around 12:30 on West Morris Street near Holt Road. We're told that an ex-boyfriend was fighting with a woman's new boyfriend when shots were fired. The ex-boyfriend was able to go to a nearby gas station to call 911. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The new boyfriend died at the hospital. Police are still working to learn more details. Across town, one person is recovering after being shot near East 38th Street and Oxford Street. We're told the victim was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. What led up to that shooting is still under investigation. Since Friday afternoon, at least 15 people have been shot across the city. 2 of those people have died.
On this Monday, we now want to turn to the very latest numbers on COVID-19 and the numbers coming out from the Department of Health. Sunday, health officials reported 860 new COVID-19 cases. That brings the total number of reported cases in our state to more than 62,000. State health officials also confirmed 8 additional COVID-19 deaths. Since the pandemic began, more than 2,700 Hoosiers have died from the virus. Lauren, on this Monday, as you know, today a statewide mask mandate now goes into effect.
In Raphael, the governor and state health officials are calling it a must-do after that recent spike in coronavirus cases. Our own Alyssa Donovan is joining us live with what you need to know this morning. Alyssa.
Good morning, and that mandate means you have to be wearing a mask, all Hoosiers, anytime you are in an indoor public space or if you're outside in an area where you cannot safely social distance. That
for eating in restaurants.
Now, this is for everyone who is 8 years and under. That means restaurants, stores, public businesses. It also includes public transportation or when in a taxi or ride share. Governor Holcomb says the reason for the mandate is because they are seeing a rise in positive cases across the state, an increase in overall hospitalizations, and last week the highest number of cases reported in a single day. Indiana joins all of its surrounding states, including Illinois, Kentucky, Ohio, and Michigan, all of which already have statewide mandates in place. The governor says this move is necessary to prevent us from backpedaling in our progress.
Again. We're eating in restaurants and we're working in all kinds of facilities, both large and small. And we want to keep it that way. We want businesses to stay open. We want more Hoosiers to continue this trend of going back safely to work. We don't want to dial it back or put it in reverse, or as some are, shutting down again.
And initially, it was announced that not complying with the mask mandate would result in a Class B misdemeanor. But the final order that was signed on Friday did not include criminal penalties. Instead, state and local health departments are responsible for enforcing that compliance. And this mask mandate, as of now, is in effect until August 26th. That's 30 days. And in that executive order, the governor wrote that if any time they see the COVID-19 data change, they could change that timeline. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. The time right now is 5:36. School is soon to be back in session, and for some Hoosier kids, they'll be going to classes online. This morning, our Kelsey Anderson joins us with the details on resources that will help you and your family navigate a virtual classroom. Kelsey.
The Indianapolis Public Library has tons of resources for students, parents, and teachers to utilize during virtual learning. They have free books and tons of online materials that can help keep everyone engaged in learning. For families that don't have internet access, you can use theirs free of charge. But if you aren't ready to venture out into public, the library has hundreds of resources like ebooks, audiobooks, and even videos to stream or download. CEO Jackie Needis says they are doing everything to keep the library safe for you.
Our library buildings are very, very safe. We are monitoring the number of people in our buildings. We have aggressive cleaning. We actually quarantine any materials returned to the library for 72 hours to make sure that there is no transmission of any virus coming out of our place.
The good news is most kids who go to school in Marion County already have library cards to the Indianapolis Public Library. The library does also have a blog where you can get ideas on books, experiments, games, and links to help kids with their homework. I've linked a ton of the resources available to you over on the RTV6 News app, but some of those resources do require a library card. You can easily get that at indypl.org. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you so much. So as you consider the best option for your family, we're looking at a specific yet scientific number that experts believe is key to your measure safety. Our Chris Conti explains.
It's daunting for sure, the decisions that you have to make.
A summer of social distancing is giving way to a fall of uncertainty for Courtney Knopfsinger and her family.
We had no idea that we would still be battling this in July heading into the next school year. It's just absolutely mind-blowing.
Courtney has spent the last few weeks agonizing over her daughter and the start of the coming school year.
It's been a little bit lonely for me.
Like so many students, 11-year-old Presley Knopfsinger wants to go back, leaving families across the country at a critical crossroad.
But we're fearful, especially when the data keeps changing.
So where can parents turn for guidance? MIT has created the COVID-19 projection machine. It gives parents an interactive map to work with. As you scroll over each state, you can see current case numbers. Pay attention to this one number, though, the positivity rate. Health experts say once a state's positivity rate goes above 5%, parents should take note.
Parents don't like to hear me say it, but we will be undertaking a whole series of experiments across this country.
Dr. William Schaffner is one of the country's leading infectious disease experts. He wants parents to be flexible if cases in your district start to rise.
That school system is going to have to figure out if there's a trigger point there where they call a timeout and everybody stays home and the learning becomes virtual.
Dr. Schaffner also says in-person learning will be more successful if parents model good behavior at home. Wear a mask in public. Show your kids what social distancing looks like.
If you do that in your family already, then it'll be easier for the child to understand what's happening.
Oh, that was sweet.
As for Courtney Knopfsinger, she's decided to let her kids go back on a hybrid schedule and is emphasizing safety.
Just keep coaching them, keep putting the thoughts in their heads that they have to wash their hands, they have to wear the mask going in and out of the building, and why.
Like so many other parents just trying to get safely back to school. I'm Chris Conti reporting.
All right, as you walk out the door here this morning, the first thing I think you are going to notice is the humidity. It's extremely high here this morning. The temperatures are warm as well as we are sitting in the 70s. And the humidity is not going to go anywhere here throughout the entire day. It's not until late tonight that it'll start to drop. Temperatures for the next couple hours are going to be in the 70s. As soon as the sun comes up, we quickly warm into the mid-80s. And we are looking at highs today anywhere from about 85 to 90 degrees. That should occur right around 2 o'clock before the rain arrives in this forecast. No threat of rainfall here this morning, but notice how these rain chances ramp up throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours, and we'll target from 3 to 6 p.m. and maybe into the 7 o'clock hour for the potential of some strong to maybe severe storms. The satellite radar picture right now is completely quiet, but these storms are off to our west. As they come in here later on this afternoon, there will be the potential that a couple of them could be borderline strong to severe. It's not a huge severe weather threat throughout the course of the day today, but it does exist. We'll talk more about that for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. A TV icon will be laid to rest right here in Indiana. After the break, details on how the services planned are for Regis Philbin.
Equal rights advocacy groups are raising concerns about several recent changes to federal housing rules. Coming up, we're taking a closer look at those changes and how they could affect you and your neighborhood. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here at RTV6.
And Raphael, take a look at this while we're waiting for the sunrise here in central Indiana.
Okay.
Look at this gorgeous view of the sunrise. This is New York City, your hometown there. So it is 5:42 here, and we'll have more on Good Morning Indiana coming up for you just after the break. Stay with us. Well, this morning we're learning more about how a legendary TV host, Regis Philbin, will be remembered. The University of Notre Dame says that Philbin will be buried at Cedar Grove Cemetery that's on the university's campus in South Bend. A funeral service at the Basilica of Sacred Heart will also be held to remember the TV icon. Philbin graduated from Notre Dame in 1953 with a degree in sociology. Philbin is perhaps best known for his roles on Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, later known as Live with Regis and Kelly, and on the quiz show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? In 2011, he broke his own Guinness World Record for the most on-camera hours on television. A date for the services has not yet been set. Regis died on Friday in New York at the age of 88.
From a TV icon to a civil rights icon, this morning we continue to remember the legacy of John Lewis. The congressman's body will lie in state in the U.S. Capitol later this afternoon. ABC's Alex Brachet has the details.
Overnight, a final goodbye for John Lewis in his home state of Alabama.
But I know a change gonna come.
The civil rights icon making his final journey to Washington, D.C. later today. The procession will shut down several streets while his body is transported to the Capitol to lie in state.
He was a servant who wanted to do good at all times and wanted everybody else to do good.
In Montgomery, Alabama, Sunday night, a service celebrating the boy from Troy, a name given to Lewis by Martin Luther King Jr. Among the speakers, Dr. Bernice King.
After my father's assassination, he was one of a few who continued to remain committed to nonviolence as a philosophy, a methodology, and a way of life.
Earlier Sunday, Lewis's flag-draped casket carried by a horse-drawn caisson across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma. Red rose petals lining the street where Lewis bled for the right to vote on Sunday, March 7th, 1965, when state troopers attacked him and other civil rights demonstrators as they crossed that bridge.
He's labored, he's done his work, he's done his job like so many others. Now it's time for us to do ours.
Lewis returned to the bridge year after year, bringing bipartisan delegations with him, most notably marking the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday in 2015, walking across that bridge with President Obama, who credited Lewis with helping to make his presidency possible. Back in Montgomery last night, Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter with this message.
Vote together, but don't forget to pray together, or you will get weary. Rest in peace and rest in power, Uncle John.
Alex Brachet, ABC News, New York.
At 5:48, equal rights advocacy groups are raising concerns about several recent changes to federal housing rules. The affirmatively furthering fair housing regulation set up in 2015 was effectively just wiped out. It was designed to eliminate racial and economic disparities in suburbs and required local jurisdictions to go through and survey and grading tool to see how they were addressing the disparities within housing. HUD Secretary Ben Carson called the rule, quote, unworkable and a waste of time to comply with. Another concerning possible change is the elimination of the equal access rule. It allows shelter operators to turn away transgender people from single-sex facilities. The public has 60 days to comment. We want to take a turn right now to our forecast. It is sticky and muggy out there this Monday, Todd.
You know, that's the first thing I think you're going to notice as you walk out the door. It's warm this morning. Temperatures are in the 70s, but it's the humidity that you are going to notice. And these dew points are in the mid-70s. What does that mean to you, besides just looking at my nice little graph here with the temperatures? Anytime this temperature, dew points are in the 70s, it is uncomfortable. Once we're getting into the mid-70s, that is tropical-like. That's what you see in South Florida. That's what you see in the Caribbean or down in New Orleans, the Gulf Coast throughout the course of the summer. So it's about as high as the dew points get. Those dew point temperatures very close to your actual temperatures that are in the 70s. That means the air is almost completely saturated. As we go throughout the day, the humidity is with us from start to finish. Temperature-wise, we'll start off already into the 80s by the time we get to 9 a.m. Highs today should get up to about 87, 88 degrees. Some of you will get to 90 in southern locations. Highs today, though, occur pretty early in the day around 1 p.m. And then as we start to build in these storms, you notice the temperatures come down. But as these storms come in, some of them could be strong to potentially severe. Satellite radar picture is pretty quiet right now across the area. You notice the one band of cloud cover, and then two, the storms. They will make steady progress towards the state during the course of the day today. Could be a stray storm right before the noon hour, but most of these storms will start to come through during the afternoon. There should be a broken line of storms as they move from west to east across the area, and some of these storms could be pretty strong with some gusty winds, maybe an isolated severe thunderstorm warning, but we're not expecting any widespread severe weather. Once we get closer to sunset and then past sunset, there'll probably still be some storms around that linger into the overnight hour, but at that point, they're probably not going to be severe. So the best potential for severe weather is going to most likely be between about 2 o'clock and 8, 9 o'clock this evening. We're under the marginal risk for severe storms. So on the scale from the Storm Prediction Center, this is the lowest threat level. So that's why it's not a guarantee you see severe weather throughout the day today, but it is a possibility with wind being the main threat as these storms move through. Not too concerned about any hail or tornado threat during the course of the day today. Looking ahead in your forecast, tomorrow's a great day. 84 degrees, some clouds maybe to start the day, but then we get into mostly sunny skies. Should be beautiful. Wednesday is a great day with 85, your high temperature, seasonable, very comfortable with low humidity. Take advantage of Tuesday and Wednesday because starting on Thursday, gets a little unsettled across the area once again with showers and storms in the forecast, and they continue, Lauren, into the weekend.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now at I-70. This is near Ronald Reagan Parkway. You can see some orange barrels out there on the roads, but the good news this morning is that the westbound lanes of I-70 are finally back open here on the west side between the south split all the way over to this camera here. So that is a change from about a month-long closure that we've been experiencing there on I-70. Both directions now open. We do still have the ramp to Meridian Street in the downtown area closed there as you're getting past the south split, so just keep that in mind. You can use West Street to get into the downtown area this morning. But Raphael, this is welcome news for drivers who head to and from the downtown area and the west side this morning.
Lauren, thank you so much for that. There are no fans in the stands for Major League Baseball because, you know, the pandemic. But as you can imagine, fans, they want to see the game. So have you seen this? Rooftops that neighbor Chicago's Wrigley Field are allowing fans the opportunity to watch some live baseball. Why not? You see, tickets for the rooftop seats, they come at a hefty price of at least $300. There are temperature checks at the entrance, reminders to social distance, and capacity is limited to about 20%, which means only about 40 to 50 people can watch the game. But what a view. And for fans that are really diehard Cub fans, hey, why not, right?
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, Raphael. This morning, majority of sports fans, they're actually ready for sports to return, even if you can't watch it in person. And that's according to a new ESPN poll. It says 78% of people are in favor of seeing sports return, even if they were on tight restrictions for fan attendance. More than half the fans asked were ready to see their favorite teams back on televised games. 64% of fans say they now have a greater appreciation for sports thanks to COVID-19.
Luxury car maker Bugatti is introducing a new stylish ride for kids. Coming up, we'll tell you just how much this Bugatti baby will set you back. This story and much more coming up here on Good Morning, Indiana.
Welcome back. Luxury car maker Bugatti is introducing a new stylish ride, Raphael, and you don't even need a driver's license to take it out on the road.
So the French company teamed up with the little car company to make a mini all-electric car. This is called the Bugatti Baby 2. And why not? Check this out. It is a modern interpretation of the original Bugatti Baby from nearly 100 years ago. The car comes in several versions and 2 driving modes. In the novice mode, this can go up to 12 miles an hour. In the expert mode, really fast, at 30 miles an hour. While the original Bugatti Baby was meant for an 8-year-old to drive, the new car is intended for young teenagers. It'll set you back $35,000. And Todd Clausen, that Bugatti is not AC ready, and according to my Storm Shield app, it is not rain ready. So I'm going to hold off on this Bugatti just today.
And if you have one, keep it in the garage because we do have storms in the forecast. As you mentioned, Raphael, there is a lot of humidity out there. But hey, maybe you just want the wind to blow through your hair, with no top on there. All right, outside right now, we're dealing with temperatures that are in the 70s, 75, and Indy 78 in Muncie. You notice the sun just starting to brighten the skies. Look from downtown to the north. We're starting the day off with a lot of sunshine, but as we get into the afternoon hours, thunderstorms are going to return, and some of those storms could be borderline strong to severe. We'll break down the severe threat for you and the timeline as well. Coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:58. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.